I don't know. In fact, I do know. I don't like all the remastered models they're doing for Warhammer the Old World. I know everyone's like, oh, I want them to redo the Tomb Kings. No. Oh, man, I really like those new Cathay models. No. In fact, I want them to go back. I want them to get the current Empire State troops and replace them with the old 6th edition spearmen with the big round shields with the lions on. And I want the old handgunners from the 6th edition Warhammer Fantasy starter set. Yeah. I don't want to go too far back. Don't get me wrong. Like, I like the current Chaos Warriors, for example. But I think, please understand, I don't think the new models look bad. I think the new Tomb Kings that have been shown off, those characters are awesome. And I actually, to be clear, I actually think upgrading characters is good. I like upgrading characters and stuff. But even then, I prefer the classic ones. Okay, let me explain myself, right? The new Chaos Marauders, they look great. They look great. The new Tomb Kings, they look great. The new Cathay models, they look great. They look great. But I don't know if they fit into the overall aesthetic. Now, let me explain. It's called Warhammer the Old World. And I really think, for me personally, and you can all disagree with me, and I fully accept you disagreeing with me, and I'm not saying you're wrong if you disagree with me. Your opinion is your opinion, my opinion is my opinion, okay? But I think that when I look down at a Warhammer the Old World board, it should look like an old school game. Like, I don't want to look down at a Warhammer Old World board and all the models look like super modern and look like super like dynamic and super detailed and shit like that. I want to look down at a Warhammer Old model and just be like, yes, that looks like something from like an old white dwarf. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm worried that if that as everything in the game gets eventually like remastered, the game will lose something important. And I don't know exactly what that is. Okay? I don't know what it is. And maybe I'm just afraid of change, but like how a game looks and how a game, the aesthetics of a game can be so important for like the vibe of that game. I just don't know if when everything's said and done and everything's been remastered, if Old World will still feel the same when all the aesthetics are different. And I know, so it's not a case of I don't like new models. It's a case of I'm worried about what the effect of the new models will be. And maybe they'll be absolutely fine. You know, truth be, maybe it'll be absolutely fine and I'm just being silly and I shouldn't worry about it. I mean, you know, great detailed models are fantastic, but there's something about looking down at those old ass Tomb King skeletons. You know the ones. The really fucking goofy bastards. And you look at them and you're just like, those are great. You know? Those are great. They look so goofy and so silly, and they add an element of charm. Okay, now I think there's something that's important there. If every model is super serious and super detailed, then that can kind of translate into how people approach a game and how people interact with a game. Look at Warhammer 40k, for example. I know you rather wouldn't, but look at Warhammer 40k, for example, which is like, it takes itself very seriously now. You know? There's no real... Even orcs, in some way... There's a fine balance, because sometimes the orc models look super fucking stupid, right? And they go too far the other way with them. And I'm not saying we want to go back to like 2nd edition Warhammer 40k orcs or anything, but there's a real difference between, you know, there's a nice, one of the things I think the old world models do, or I should say the current old world models do, is they are a nice balance between serious and silly. You know, like that. Look at old world orcs, for example. Everything from like the Goblin Doom Divers to the Fanatics, the Snotlings, the Pump Wagons, and then you've got like the Orcs and the Black Orcs, and you've got like the Boar Boys and stuff like that. There's like a real, like that faction is a really, really good. That faction is a really good example of like how something can be serious, can be both serious and silly at the same time. And I'm just a little worried that if all the models get updated, the game will lose its charm. And I think its charm is a really, really big selling point of the game. I think, and I don't think that like that means you can't update any models. No. And I actually think the Marauders... are a good example of it, because the Marauders are just bad models. Like, they're just bad models. Like they're like Catachans. The arms aren't the same size as the bodies. You get these like weird bits on them and everything. Yeah, so you know, there's some examples of where they're updating things, which I think are right, and certain factions should feel like they take themselves more seriously than like others. And stuff like that. So don't get me wrong. I think there are examples of where they, you know, bad models being updated is good. That's fine. But I think there should be a serious level of consideration and deliberation over which models should be updated, because sometimes older models, even if they're a bit rougher, actually are very important and they're full of charm. And then just updating them because you think, we need this game to be more serious. We need this game to be a serious deal, a big deal. I think that's actually a risk. Yeah. I think that's a risk. So. Yeah, I don't know. I'm worried. I'm just worried that, you know, in 2 or 3 years' time, like every old world army will have been like fully updated, and every old army will have lost. You know, every model will have been updated, and the game will become like 40k, where it takes itself too seriously. So that's that's one of my concerns. And also, and this might sound this might sound a little strange, but I really don't like the way GW designs their models these days. Like, those new Marauders look great, but how many pieces are they going to be in? And what are the sprues going to look like? Because the big selling point of that new Marauder box is, hey, look, it comes 40 Marauders. And my thoughts were, fuck me, what if the models are a nightmare to build? you're not going to build fucking 40 Marauders. You might build like 10 and fucking dump the rest. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just... that's one of my big concerns. One of the great things about the old GW models and, you know, the old world models right now is that they're really easy to build. They're really, really phenomenally easy to build. You know, this goblin right here, I mean, this goblin looks totally fine. Do you know what I mean? He's totally acceptable for the job. I actually really like him. Look at that face. Look at that face. His head is bigger than his body, okay? He looks like a fucking goblin, right? The model's about 4 pieces. Body, head, legs, that's 3. 2 arms, that's 5. And an optional shield. It's like 6 pieces. Now, let's be real here. Those new... Yeah, it's perfection. Exactly. If they remaster those Marauders... The Marauders are the same, basically. Legs, body, head, 2 arms, optional shield, right? So, the current Marauders, the goofy shit ones, are like 6 pieces to build. How many do you think the new ones are going to be? I mean, it'll be 6 pieces for a fucking leg. You think I'm silly, but when building the new Deathgore Krieg Death Riders, you've got to glue the toes onto the toe cap onto the boots of the riders. The new Cathay Sentinel, 1 leg is in 14 pieces. Yeah. So there's some concerns when it comes to getting new GW models, and it's a real shame because I don't want to have those concerns, but I am concerned on 2 levels about Old World getting new models. I'm concerned that the vibe of the game will change and it will become more serious and it will lose some of its charm and some of its aesthetics. And I am concerned that the models will become more expensive and they'll become harder to build. I mean, here's the thing, right? Let's look at something here. The new Jade Warriors for Grand Cathay. Very nice models. This is actually a fair comparison. I have an unfair and I have a fair comparison. So the new Jade Warriors for Grand Cathay, very detailed, very, very good models. You get 20 guys for £54.50. Now, it is important to mention that this will be a good guide for your new Chaos Marauders. All right? Your new Chaos Marauders. Or, for the same price, I can get 40. Or was it 38 to be precise? But then you also, I believe, on these sprues get enough bits to build like some snotling bases as well. So, yeah. So, literally half the price. And these models are iconic. You may not like to admit it, but these models are iconic. And do you want to know how many pieces each one of these models is? This guy here, arms, legs, body, everything is 1 piece, and you just glue the head on. You just glue the head on. That's it. And it's an extreme example, but it's an example of, look, these models are so simple and easy to produce that Games Workshop actually gives you a good deal on them. Actually gives you a good fucking deal. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong, there are limitations to this kit. You have to build half of them with the choppers and half of them with the bows. You can't build them all the same way because they're so monopose. But the point is that like you get a lot. Even if you only want the chopper boys, it's still... Yeah, but you basically... Think about it, you're getting all those arrow boys for free. You're getting all the arrow boys for free. And bear in mind, these command models can be built with like normal weapons as well. So actually, you're getting 22 models you actually want, and then you're getting 16 arrow boys for free. Think about it. That's what you're getting. Or you get the new Jade Warriors. Now, I haven't actually checked this, but should we have a look at what the old Marauders are going for? Because that might completely change my mind on the whole thing. You know, I'm happy to be proven wrong. Is it going to be double? 32. So, yeah, the old Marauders are... You get 32 models. The new Marauders, you're going to get 20. It's one of those things where, you know, maybe that's not even the main reason I'm worried, right? It's not even the main reason I'm worried. Like, the price, the cost, it's a sideshow for me. It's worth mentioning, but it's a sideshow. Oh, if you want to see the really unfair comparison, you know, you can get 38 old Orc boys for 38 old Orc boys for £54, or you can get 17 Space Marines for £91. You honestly, I have forgotten how ridiculous fucking 40k is these days. Like, it's actually not even funny anymore. But anyway, so yeah, the Syriade, yes, but comparing a model from 3rd edition to a model from 8th isn't fair. You would need to compare it to a high elf unit. I mean, I did say it was an unfair comparison. I did say it was an unfair comparison. But anyway, Syriade, I'm not disagreeing with you. Let me get back to the main topic. The whole pricing thing, it's a sideshow. It's like, whatever, okay, sure. You know, a lot of and the pricing thing is going to be subjective, and the aesthetics, you know, the do you prefer higher quality models but less of them, or the older models but more of them? It's not even the main point. It's almost a distraction. I wish I hadn't gone on that tangent. Okay, my main concern is how it will change the aesthetics of the game, and I'm worried that Old World would lose its charm. That's it. I'm worried that I will look across. Look, I'm gonna controversial opinion here. You know the old vampire count skeletons? You know, the ones that share the same sprue as the Tomb Kings, but they got like they got like a round shield. I prefer those ones. The old zombies, love the old zombies. Yeah, I do. And the old skeleton one is definitely going to get a lot of people to disagree with me, but the thing is, they were very silly, and they were very charming, and also they were really easy to build. The vampire count skeletons before they went away were they were actually really fiddly and really spindly, and loads of the bits fell off. My brother has a bunch of them, and he's constant. To this day, he's still snapping fucking spears off them and having to re-glue them and everything. So yeah, I don't know. It's probably just a nostalgia thing. It's probably just a nostalgia thing. But I do think one of Old World's best selling points is the fact it's nostalgia. And I also think that one of the best things about Old World is it reminds us of a time before GW went full corpo. And I'm worried that if it gets too much attention from main studio, then it will lose a lot of what makes it a great game. I mean, you saw the video I put out today. Everything corpo GW turns to shit. And I guess that's my big concern. Old World right now is so good because it is a game that is designed and feels and just is a time before now. And I like that I have a game that lets me go back to those simpler times. Definitely nostalgia, definitely member berries, but I think it's something that actually also really appeals to new players right now as well. There's a lot of people that started in 10th edition who are like, this fucking GW thing's getting mental, and they're looking for the places to go. I mean, and a great example of this, look at how many people in this community who started in 10th edition who are now going over to Conflict 47, because Conflict 47 is, it feels like a classic war game that's been remastered. It's got the foundation of those classic tenets of the classic tenets of an old school war game, but it's very much a modern trailblazing game at the same time. It's a strange hybrid of the two. It's got old school bones, but the flesh that's been put on, the meat that's been put on those bones is very much like modern and really, you know, like I said, modern and trailblazing in a good way. Yeah. So I just that I guess is my concern with Old World. It will the more it moves away from its classic roots, I think something will be lost on the way, and I think a big part of that is going to come down to the aesthetics of the models. I'm going to be honest. The Cathay balloons, really cool models, like, you know, they're really cool models. Really, to me, look so out of place in Old World. So ridiculously out of place. They're too big. What the fuck is this? They're too big. You know, why giants don't feel giant? You know, giants should feel giant. So yeah, I and if you like the balloons, again, that's great. I'm not telling you what to think. I'm saying that I look at a Cathay balloon and it breaks my immersion, because it looks like it's the wrong scale. It looks like the wrong scale. Yeah. So that's I guess my concern a little bit. That's my concern. Am I right? Am I wrong? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do I need to check into a padded cell? But I'm a little... I like Warhammer the Old World, but right now, I think... So some people might say, what do you want from Warhammer the Old World then? Do you just want it to never change? No. I've been clear about this before, but I'm happy to say it again because different stream, right? I think Games Workshop should be focused on bringing back the Renegade factions, and then that will let us get the full picture, and then we can see where we go from there. Yeah. Then we can see where we go from there. But I think we need Dark Elves back before we get new Marauders. We should be having Dark Elves. Before we get new Tomb Kings, we should have like new Ogre King. Yeah, Ogre Kingdoms should be back properly. I'm not a big fan of Ogre Kingdoms, but I think they're pretty decent. You know, I still think they have their place. Ogres are a very key part of Old World, and they've been around a long time. Yeah, I think there's a lot of... We fucking need Vampire Counts back. Yeah, we need Dark Elves back. Yeah. That's just like my opinion. Yeah, before we start getting all this new shit, we need to get the other shit sorted out first. Yeah. But there you go. Let's see what people are saying. Uncle Clumsy, I've been here since 3rd edition 40k and 5th edition More Fantasy. I'm barely holding on to Old World as is, and I've ditched 40k permanently. I'm fully ready to find folks ready to take the Old World off the books if needed. Oh my god, it sounds to me like you need yourself some Conflict 47 in your life. Yeah. Metric. I'd say Cathay is supposed to look like that because it's China. Most of their armies are medieval / Renaissance Europe. Yeah, but I just think it's, you know, I think it's the balloons, man. And I think there's loads of ways you can have like Chinese styled armies in Cathay. Yeah, it's just, for me, it's just the balloons. Sentinel, I think, is great because it's like a giant. The dragons, Cathay dragons, great. Cavalry, great. Cannons, great. Really like I actually really like Cathay, and I actually do think they look okay in Old World, but the balloons take me out of it. Yeah. Like I said, I don't. It's mostly a concern. I don't mind GW necessarily adding in like new factions and stuff, but I think that we should definitely be getting some of those old classic ones back first. And I definitely think that no matter what Games Workshop does, they need to keep an eye on the charm and the vibe of Old World. And I'm concerned that the charm will be lost and the vibe will change. Yeah. Yeah. So confirm Mordian hates the new models because they aren't Empire. Dude, I would... I'm going to say right now, I would lose my fucking mind. I'd lose my shit if they brought back the old 6th edition state troops. I kid you not. If Games Workshop brought back like those Arrow Boys and Orc Boy box, if they brought that back and they were like, hey, look, you can get 20 like handgunners and 20 of the old state troops, I would probably buy enough. I'd buy 3 or 4 boxes of that. Just done. Maybe 5. I don't need 100 handgunners. But those old Empire State Troops are literally peak. Literally peak beyond comparison. Yeah. Look at the Free Company box, man. I think these guys look great. I love them. And I think Games Workshop absolutely smashed it with those models. And I think they look like Marauders should look. Okay? Great. No issues, no dramas, fantastic. So I like this, but I don't want them to lose sight of this. Okay? These models are really good. They do not need updating. They don't need updating. These are good models, liked by everyone, enjoyed by everyone, a classic kit, an iconic kit, and something that is very, very important. Like the bees, okay? They're like bees in a real-life ecosystem. If you get rid of the bees, because you think, oh, who gives a fuck about bees? Then all the other plants start dying, all right? These are very important as a foundation, as an iconic unit, as an integral unit. Nobody wants these updating. These are great. Leave these alone, okay? But we can also enjoy these at the same time. But I don't want everything to look like this. Okay? I don't want everything to look like this. I want bad kits that need generally accepted bad kits getting updated. That's good. But beloved kits that are important to the history, the culture of the game need to be preserved. Okay? That is my summary of my thoughts on Old World. And I think this looks great. This looks great. But this looks out of place. Great model. Great model. Very beautiful. Very impressive. My immersion has been broken. My immersion has been broken. Okay? It looks like it's designed for a different scale, for a different game. Frankly, it looks like it belongs in AOS. Okay? Look, and that's not true for everything. Not everything for Cathay. This looks like it belongs in Warhammer Old World. This really looks like it belongs in Warhammer Old World. This reminds me of those really big statues in Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, when they're going down the river, coming to life. Great. Absolutely passes the vibe check. This breaks my immersion. Absolutely breaks my immersion. This, great. no issues with that whatsoever. This, great, no issue with that whatsoever. Looks like a dragon, feels like a dragon, distinctive from, looks like a dragon from a different part of the world. Looks like a Chinese dragon rather than like a Western dragon or like a wyvern, something like that. You know what I mean? Like, get that, love that, 100%. This fits into the vibe, get it. It's just this feels so out of place. Yeah. This feels out of, so it's not all Empire infantry. It's not about that whatsoever. It's about something looking in place or out of place. Yeah. But there you go. And like I said, that's just my opinion. I want to make sure that we don't lose sight of the charm of the old world in a rush for everything to be remastered, because we've been down that path before with 40k, and I think it's with the ever constant churn and push and pressure for new shit. I think it's only now we've realized how much old shit has been lost and how many bees have been taken out of our ecosystem and how many blocks have been taken out of the Jenga tower. Yeah. There you go. All right. But that's just me. That's just me. And hey, look, you guys will have different opinions, and that's okay. That's all right. That's all right. Yeah. But hopefully that makes a little bit more sense from a little bit more sense. You guys can see I'm not hating on like, oh, all new models are bad, because I don't think that. I think the new Marauders are great. It sounds crazy. I think the new Marauders are great, but I am going to miss the old ones. But I tell you, no, actually, no. I tell you what, I'm going to say something, actually. I think the new Marauders are really, really good, because I think the new Marauders match the aesthetics and the vibe of these Chaos Warriors. I actually will miss the old Chaos Marauders, but I understand they actually look quite out of place, because these Marauders were designed to go with these models. These are the old Chaos Warriors, okay? These are the old Warriors of Chaos, and they are often described as like the hunched over like American football player models. And these Warriors of Chaos look totally okay alongside these Marauders, but these Warriors of Chaos are a lot more serious looking. And so I've closed the thing, but and so the new Marauders will fit in a lot nicer alongside these. Yeah. They'll look more in line. But I'm gonna say it, guys. I still really like the look of the old Marauders, man. I don't think they look bad at all. I don't know. Maybe I'm just mental. But the guys with like they remind me of the old PC game Rune. But I think the new ones will look better overall. I think they will. Yeah. But there we go. Now. I've said like 3 times that's the end of it, but now it's done. Now it's done. All right. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian glory hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and patrons. You guys are amazing. Truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full-time without the incredible and generous support of my members. So thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Redfield, 32, Jurgens, Miasma, Try Again, Bragg, RJ, Scorpion, Bonbon Vert, Lord Pryor, Nicholas Walsh, John Stubbs, Guardian, Varney, Sword, Fish Trombone, Picklock the Forged. Seriously guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video, and of course, as always, see you guys next time.